So, hello, welcome back to another episode of the Self Development with Tactics podcast. Today we are going through Ikigai, which is a book, but I would say that it is also a way of living or just a topic in general, Origin, originating? Do you say originating? It is from Japan and it is all about living your life in a certain way with certain guidelines and certain rules, and this is what we are essentially going to talk about today. Today, so just before I was eating something, and I guess that I have inhaled one lentil, which is not amazing, but kind of a rule or guideline is as long as you can breathe normally, which I somehow can, a ton of it is just the mind and psychology. And also when you can talk, then things are not that bad. This is not the case. Some shit is pretty bad. And you should really call the ambulance and you should really be in a hospital relatively quickly, because things can turn out rather bad for you in such a situation. Anyway, I just realized something. Because I was trying to make a cake with oats. And yesterday I actually made a pretty cool cake. Not with oats, but with flour. And yeah. Might be the case that I just need to have my cake longer in the oven. But I just didn't want it to just let it be there for who knows how long, like 30 minutes or whatnot. Like expensive shit, The new Ikigai ebook is live. It covers everything I've learned about Ikigai over the last 5 years. Blah 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 blah. This post is a book summary of Ikigai, the Japanese secret to a long and happy life by Hector Garcia and Francis Miralles. I was hoping this book would be a deep dive into the how of Ikigai. However, it is more of an introduction to a variety of different topics, including the blue zones, logotherapy, longevity, flow, tai chi, yoga, resilience, and more. If you're new to those topics, then this book is for you. I'm not new to these topics. I've been reading and learning and consuming them for quite a while now. But I don't know. Like, I originally also didn't want to go through that book because I already have a ton of assumptions what it is going to be about, and I do not want to waste my time and your time. But now we are here. Quick summary of the book Ikigai, the Japanese secret to a long and happy life. As mentioned above, this book covers many topics related to the art of living. The authors define Ikigai and the rules of Ikigai. They conducted a total of 100 interviews in Ohimi, Okinawa, to try to understand the longevity secrets of centenarians and super centenarians. Whatever this actually is, a person who is 100 or more years old. I see. What do Japanese artisans, engineers, Zen philosophy and cuisine have in common? Simplicity and attention to detail. The authors of this book wish you a long, happy and purposeful life. And I would actually indeed underline and emphasize especially purposeful life. I would say that a purposeful life, even if it might not be that long, because this may not necessarily be influenced by purposefulness, is still a really, really good life, and you're still gonna be happy, at least at my point of view, because purpose is one of the most important things there is in fucking life, as I had to notice. Japanese life purpose, Ikigai. The first point, so this is what Ikigai is all about. First, what you love. Second, what you are good at. Third, what the world needs. And fourth, what you can be paid for. And all of these things combined make up Ikigai. And what I'm seeing there is having a profession that indeed focuses on all of those four things, or includes all of those four things. You really love to do it. You're really good at it. They might be kind of correlated. Something that is definitely not correlated to that is that the world also needs it. Somebody needs it, and you also get paid for that. Just because the world needs it doesn't mean that you're gonna get paid for it. Chances are a bit higher than when it is something that nobody needs, and does also not necessarily have to be the case that the world needs it just because you are able to do so, even if it is in a very, very, very well way. Anyway, what is Ikigai? In Japanese, Ikigai is written by combining the symbols that mean life with to be worthwhile. Translated roughly as the happiness of always being busy. Note, I believe they mean busy in the sense of living a full life versus busy life. There is a passion inside you, a unique talent that gives meaning to your days and drives you to share the best of yourself until the very end. If you don't know what your Ikigai is yet, as Viktor Frankl says, your mission is to discover it. Note, Viktor Frankl is the author of Man's Search for Meaning. Thank you. Our Ikigai is different for all of us, but one thing we have in common is that we are all searching for meaning. When we spend our days feeling connected to what is meaningful to us, we live more fully. When we lose this connection, we feel despair and just bad, and it feels like that I just no. Anyway, where have I stopped? When we spend our days feeling connected to what is meaningful to us, we live more fully. When we lose the connection, we feel despair. Our Ikigai is hidden deep inside of us, and finding it requires a patient search, according to those born on Okinawa, the island with the most centenarians in the world, or centenarians probably, because century. Anyway. Our Ikigai is the reason we get up in the morning. Want to discover your Ikigai? Pursuing it and nurturing it every day will bring meaning to your life. They have an important purpose in life, or several. They have an Ikigai, but they don't take it too seriously. They are relaxed and enjoy all they do. One thing that everyone with a clearly defined Ikigai has in common is that they pursue their passion no matter what. 10 rules of Ikigai. Stay active, don't retire. Take it slow. Don't fill your stomach, which at first really does not have anything to do with the other two, and maybe some others that I'm gonna go over. Surround yourself with good friends. Get in shape for your next birthday. Smile. Reconnect with nature. Give thanks. Live in the moment and follow your Ikigai. There, once again, from the book Ikigai, there, blah, 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 blah. Ikigai book highlights stress and existential crisis. Many people seem older than they are. Research into the causes of premature aging has shown that stress has a lot to do with it. The American Institute of Stress investigated this degenerative process and concluded that most health problems are caused by stress. That's the negative one. There is also positive stress. As well as, and I kind of feel like that I'm just not able to breathe as well as normally, so maybe I'm gonna die today, who knows. But I'm gonna go for a bike ride, which might be my Ikigai, to be honest. It's always fun, it really is, Working out is good stress for the body because it leads the body to adaptation. It forces the body to adapt and do something, And just kind of always let me have a look at my, at my page. And the first thing is that you can hear me no matter what. For whatever reason. this quote-unquote cake really more quality. Thanks, you. Somehow, I guess. Is it still hot? Not really, to be honest. I just want it to be solid. Which is definitely not the case. So what I think, the whole because you can clearly see that it is not solid all the way down. I think the problem was that I used way too much water. So I thought I'm gonna use the ratio that I normally use for just making my oatmeal, which makes it very, very voluminous. You know, a ton of water, not having a ton of calories, therefore, but still has quite a lot of volume and is satiating me rather quickly. But it didn't work out that well. And I've also seen that the consistency, although I've let it sit for quite a while actually, so that it thickens naturally, you know, through starches or through absorption of the water. But it turned out definitely not the way I have intended it to be. But also compared to yesterday, I've used way less solid substance and way more fluids. So maybe, just out of interest, I'm gonna do another batch today. I just really feel like I need to do so. And this time I might actually indeed be using the ratios that I've also used for the other cake, you know, with regular flour, although it was not wheat flour, but it was, and I'm actually very sorry for just putting this into here. You might be willing to learn more about Ikigai rather than dieting, even though it is correlated. What I have used is 270 milliliters of water, 30 grams of cacao powder, non-sugared natural cacao powder, 216, although I went with 200 grams of flour. I think it is called spelt. It's not wheat, it's spelt. And also I think it's been like 2 grams of salt, which was way too much and it really pissed me off. Although it's, you know, actually tasted relatively well. Today I've only used 1 gram. But as you can see, the normal oat ratio that I've used was 100 grams of oats to 500 milliliters of water, as well as 20 grams of cacao powder. And for this, you know, for it being actually a very, very disturbing ratio, you know, a very, very watery ratio, incredibly watery, you know, because here with the normal cake I've almost used like 1-to-1, like 270 grams of water to 200 grams of fucking spelt flour. This is nearly like 1-to-1. So maybe for the next batch, even though I do have a feeling that this might not work, since, you know, first of all, flour has a completely different texture than oats have. Therefore, making oat flour would have been a possibility. I have tried to do so as well before in a very pretty much smaller anyway, I actually want to talk about Isekai, not cooking and baking fucking cake. The American Institute of Stress investigated this degenerative process and concluded that most health problems are caused by stress. Existential crisis, on the other hand, is is typical of modern societies in which people do what they are told to do or what others do, rather than what they want to do. They often try to fill a gap between what is expected of them and what they want for themselves with economic power of physical pleasure or by numbing their senses, i.e. drinking a ton of alcohol. Those who give up the things they love doing and to do well lose their purpose in life. That is why it is so important to keep doing things of value, making progress, bringing beauty or utility to others, helping out and shaping the world around you, even after your quote-unquote official professional activity has ended, i.e. retirement. And this is actually indeed something that I've always wondered about, and I've always asked people that are pretty close to retiring or retired, isn't it boring to retire? Isn't it boring to just not have to work? And most people say like, no, not really. They're gonna find enough things to do. But my grandpa, whom I've also asked whether he felt that way, he said that he really loved his job and he really liked it, and it really actually also took him a long while until he finally was able to retire, because he and in the end it was kind of forced because of health reasons. But he said at first it was strange, because this has just always been his life. He even worked on Saturdays. He's actually been quite a hard-working person in general. Of course, I don't know the details, and I've also been told certain things that really do not underline that statement, but still pretty hardworking, and then he did a really good job at what he was doing actually as well, I assume. And the whole point is he at first said like, he really liked his job, and it's been difficult at first, but he is getting used to it. He's getting used to just not having to deal with these things, and he's also slowly but surely seeing the beauty in not having to think about work. Morita therapy, which is going to be the last thing that I'm go over today. Many Western forms of therapy focus on controlling or modifying the patient's emotions. In the West, we tend to believe that what we think influences how we feel, which in return influences how we act. In contrast, Morita therapy focuses on teaching patients to accept their emotions without trying to control them, since their feelings will change as a result of their actions. Logotherapy and Morita therapy are both grounded in a personal, unique experience that you can access without therapists or spiritual treatments. The mission of finding your ikigai, your existential fuel, once you find it, it is only a matter of having the courage and making the effort to stay on the right path. And also not flow. It is actually very interesting. I also believe that our thinking heavily influences how we feel and therefore our actions. But it also really depends on what you mean as action. Of course, if you're feeling bad about you being overweight and you just deal with your emotions and just try to, through that, change your actions, well, I don't know if it would not be way easier and smarter, especially smarter, to just change your actions so that you're able to lose weight, which is in return going to change the way you think about yourself or think about whatever it might be about. I don't fucking know. It's difficult. It's really rather difficult. But something that I want to say, and I might try, because I still have to think about my cake, I might be just freezing it. Then it is indeed hard. Or hardened. Whatever. Anyway, I hope you do inform yourself a little bit more about Ikigai as well, and I'm going to see you the next time. So